Hey guys, so this is gonna be what I have titled the Chase Ross video, kind of like the Beyonce video. There's nothing really that special about this video other than people have been waiting for me to do it for so long, which is why I'm gonna try and make it interesting. Now, if you guys don't know the whole story behind this, basically I was going to do a response to one of Chase's new videos, my mic messed up, and it skipped over most of the audio. By the way, I'm getting a new mic soon. It's actually on the way to my house, so look forward to that when that comes. But anyway, yeah, my mic messed up. I realized I was going to have to redo the video, and as I was watching the video, I didn't want to redo at least the type of video I did, because I was basically going to make the exact same points in the Chase Ross's Understanding Preferences video. So instead, take a look at a lot of his recent activity, because of course there's always drama going on with him, and what he said in some of his other videos. Now, before we get into any of these videos or any of the things that he does on his channel, I do want to point out some of the comments that I've been getting about the whole Chase Ross is a hypocrite video. I didn't really intend for that video to be serious, and I made it really hastily. But yeah, that was a pretty bad video. I did mostly focus on stuff that he had said years before. But the thing is that he claims that he never had those opinions, and that's just not the case. I think my point does still stand with the fact that he used to say tranny all the time, and now he acts like it's the worst word ever, and he's never ever said it in his life except for that one time. So yeah, I do agree that was a bad video. But I still think there were some points that stand. Anyway, let's move on to his first video, and I'm just going to be looking at clips from some of his videos, not doing a full-on response, because I do want to go over several things. Number one, his is not disclosing your trans status lying video that he made a couple of months ago. Now, he makes the argument in this video that it's not lying to not disclose your trans status, which, yeah, it's not lying, but it's omitting information that is really important in a relationship. Now, I can understand, TJ Kirk actually made a good video on this. I can understand if you have genitals that look like the opposite sex enough and you're just casually hooking up with someone. Yeah, you don't really need to tell them, but in literally any other case, you would need to tell them. Anyway, there's a clip where he goes on this whole thing where it's not lying or it's not important to disclose your trans status in a relationship. Now, obviously, I understand, again, in other contexts where it's not important, but it is important in a relationship. I'm sorry, it is. Even if you're not having sex with that person, you are emotionally intimate with them. And if you're keeping something that big away from them, that's really gonna not make your relationship go well. But anyway, let's get to this one clip.
It's not like, oh, I don't tell you something, it doesn't mean I'm lying. Like, I'm withholding information. You're not withholding any information. This is just a part of your life that is irrelevant, especially if you're going on a date with someone. Like, come on, relax. Like, maybe they'll tell you in a couple of, after a couple of dates, or maybe a couple of years.
Yeah, he said in a couple of years. You're dating someone for a long time, then you just randomly tell them in a couple of years. How well do you think that's gonna go, Chase? As someone who rarely talks about being trans in real life, I can empathize with what he's saying, sort of, but it's still something you have to tell your partner. I don't care if you're not having sex with them. It's still a big thing that might be a deal breaker for them. And they need to know that. Obviously not right off the bat necessarily, but they still need to know that to some extent. One example that's a good analogy is I know a woman who had breast cancer and she had a mastectomy and have a whole reconstruction done and stuff. And she said that when she went out on dates, her rule, and obviously it doesn't need to apply for everyone like this, is to tell her date after the third date. And sometimes that was a deal breaker for them and they would go away, sometimes they would be okay with that. But she still needed to tell them because it's an important thing. She needed to know if they were okay with that. And I think it's similar with being trans. Don't get me wrong, if it weren't a big deal, I would not want to tell a date that I was trans, but you still have to do it. It's a part of having some sort of condition or big thing in your life that a partner may need to know about. I mean, even if you're done with your transition, again, that might be a deal breaker for them. And if you're still transitioning, obviously that's going to come up in your life. So they need to know. I'm sorry. But anyway, on from that point that he made, I just wanted to address that specific thing because he said in a couple of years, and that just sounds crazy to me. The next thing I want to address is his apparent obsession with Jaclynn, Arielle, Scarcerella. Now, I know I make tons of videos just that would be focused on one person, so I don't have a problem with him making a lot of videos on them. But the thing is that he's obsessed with the same point, that they say that it's not transphobic for them to not want to date trans people, which is true, but he calls them transphobic again and again, makes the same points again and again and again, and it just becomes really repetitive, which, like I said, is part of the reason that I didn't want to make another video in response, because I think he's made 4 videos on them at least, and it's just getting tiring, because it's the same points that he's going over again and again and again. So that's just something that I find a little annoying, not a big point though. Then I just want to briefly mention how he plays the victim when his videos get demonetized. And they get demonetized for very specific reasons. Now I know that everybody's getting demonetized. It's the adpocalypse. It's not just anti-SJW channels, although a lot of those do seem to be hit pretty hard. So if he's getting hit by the adpocalypse, I do feel bad for him. But now he's complaining about his videos getting restricted for a very specific reason, which I do think is genuine. It's because he reviews sex toys in his videos. And I don't have a problem with him reviewing sex toys, although he does do it a lot. But I don't have a problem with him reviewing sex toys. But you do have to understand those are going to get age restricted. They are. You're reviewing sex toys. I mean, what else? And he's saying, well, it might help somebody's dysphoria who's under 18. And that may be true, but there's still sex toys, and there's still things that you're reviewing, and they still would rightfully fit under age restriction. And I don't think they should be completely censored or anything like that, or even demonetized. But it's true that a lot of companies will demonetize them because they don't want their ad next to a review for a sex toy. But still, like, it makes sense why his videos are getting restricted. And he's still playing the victim. Even though he's one of those rare cases where I would say it makes sense that his videos are age restricted. Finally, we're gonna get into some amazing drama here. And Chase is always very dramatic. You guys all know that. But he got really, really butthurt. Just really butthurt. When it was announced that Ty Turner, who broke up with his girlfriend, by the way, I wonder why, is now dating someone else, specifically Steph Sanjati, who I mentioned in another video. She's a trans woman who is pretty SJW. She's kind of in that circle, and she's friends with a lot of them. She was their mutual friend, and then she and Ty started dating. Now, I have no problem with them dating. That's fine, although Chase does now claim that his sexuality is different because he's dating a trans woman, even though you're not supposed to discriminate based on genitalia according to their ideology. I think the reason why he claims to have a different sexuality now is because he Chase. But anyway, I have no problem with them dating. If they really care about each other, good for them. I think the only one really butthurt about this is, ironically, the person in their community who's supposed to support them and be their friend. And even though Ty isn't really an SJW, he's in that group. And it's sad that these groups of SJWs just eat each other. And this is a prime example of this. So he commented this on one of Steph's videos, where she was just doing a drunk boyfriend tag with Ty, and Chase was like, never saw this coming, sarcastic. And everybody was commenting like, oh my god, I love your sarcasm. But this one person got it exactly right, or exactly wrong, but she was still sort of figuring it out. Did you want to be with her? Honest curiosity, I shipped you two is what I'm asking. I would have not been surprised if that happened. This threw me a little. No, I don't think he wanted to be with Steph. I think it's the other side of the relationship he's jealous about. Then people start talking about Chase and Ty's bromance. This is super straight though. Chase and Ty could still have their bromance. I'm confused. Ty literally said he was pansexual a couple days ago. Again, he claims to be pansexual now. I don't know why, if it's because he's dating a trans woman and he thinks that changes his sexuality, or if because he's dating Chase. But it's cool, and the bromance is high-key great. Guys, this isn't a bromance. A bromance is when two guys like each other, but they're not in a relationship. Like, it's closer than friends, but it's not a full-on relationship. Chase and Ty are in a full-on relationship. Like, what they do together is not what just friends would do, let's just say. But yeah, he left that little passive-aggressive comment there, and people interpreted it all kinds of ways. Some people were like, oh my god, Chase, I love your sarcasm. It's not like you're butthurt about this at all. And some people sort of figured it out. So I think that's the end of my little analysis of what Chase Ross has been doing recently. And as always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.